Hello, everybody. I hope all is well with you. I am Demetra K, and again, I hope you're having a great day. I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Saadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner. To the purpose of the Demetra K show, yep. I don't know. Keep hope alive. The purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, thank you to my wonderful moderators for all that you do in holding down the comments section. It is much appreciated. Today, we're going to be talking about Democrats refuse to end shutdown unless ICE is reformed for illegal immigrants. Of course, we'll get into that. I'm not quite sure if many people know there is a partial shutdown, because I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, or maybe people are just over it, or whatever the case is. But before we get started, I got a couple of things I want to remind you of. Of course, you can find me in Toronto, Canada, July 25th. Of course, you can find me there with the rest of the African Diaspora News Channel. Of course, Brother Phil will be spearheading the whole thing. And now you can get your tickets at africandiasporanews.org/Canada. You can take a screenshot and get your tickets. So if you're in Toronto, Canada, and you want to hear us just basically have a conversation about media literacy, community voice, real change, and a whole host of other things, we would love for you to come out and do that. But first, you must get your tickets. Get your tickets right now before they sell out, because when they gone. Space is limited. I will tell you that. So I cannot wait to see those of y'all in Canada. So one more other thing. Of course, you can catch us in Ohio.
Unity, reunion, parade, cookout, line dance party, backyard, barbecue, fish fry, vegan soul, Black business, food truck, networking, outdoor, concert, music, festival, celebration of the year.
It is an amazing experience. You have people from all over the country.
This is my second year attending, and they over-delivered.
So if you haven't come before, you need to come.
Hey, you know what? I'm just out here vibing.
Get tickets now at OhioBlackExpo.com.
Absolutely. So once again, take a screenshot so you can get your tickets for our Ohio Black Expo, OhioBlackExpo.com. Of course, again, they have sales all up into the actual event, which again will be speaking on May 23rd. It is a blast and a ball. I promise you, there's so much to do. There's music, as I said, there's food, and just a whole host of things, a lot of speakers. I mean, you will not have a bad time there. I promise you that. And of course, you can come up and say hello to us, as it would be our pleasure to do that. So again, I cannot wait to see you there. That's what we got going on so far. Okay. So anyway, Donovan, what say you?
Hey, again, welcome you guys. Welcome. Thank you guys for coming back, especially you OG, Triple G people that have been with us since day one, and those that have been rocking with us ever since they've found the channel. So thank you guys for coming in. And I want to give a disclaimer. YouTube rejected my comment. This usually means they think it's spam. Try changing it a bit. So on the YouTube side, some of my conversation isn't working. So I see your comments, and I'm going to try to go around it by keeping my YouTube page open and kind of moving it over. So if you guys see me with my head down and kind of moving, I'm trying to respond to the comments. But hey, great to have you guys here. Let's get into it. Do us a favor. You see that scrolling banner at the bottom there? If you want to contribute to the show and continue to have these great conversations, there's ways you can do it. And we thank those that have donated, continue to donate, and all that other great stuff that you guys do. Takes a lot of time and effort to put these conversations together, and Demetra is up early in the morning. And so if you guys want to just go ahead and contribute to the Demetra K Coffee Fund, feel free to do so. But of course, DC, my brother in DC, you guys have a storm coming your way, so be ready for that. Be ready for that. Also, do not forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on a Google Play, Apple Store, as you just saw in the commercials there. As far as the African Diaspora News Channel crew, they're going to be in Canada. They're going to be in Columbus, Ohio. And by the way, I own all exclusive rights to Demetra K. Her contract is for sale. So if you guys are interested in owning the rights to Demetra K, I'm willing to sell. Okay, I'm willing to sell because I got other things I need to be doing. Okay, but anyway, so they're going to be in Columbus, Ohio, and Canada. But what you don't know, if you haven't been following the Emancipation Channel and a few of the African Diaspora News Channel pages, from some of the content creators, this year they will be going to Brazil. They're going to Brazil. Donovan is thinking about going. But here's the thing. If I go to Brazil, what's going to happen, Demetra? I ain't coming back. It'll be a wrap for Donovan. Okay, you guys, I'll be done. But no, not only are they going to go to Brazil, when they go to Brazil, they go and look up the history and all that other great stuff. So all you fellas that have heard these rumors about Brazil, when it's not that type of trip, okay? But Donovan is known to kind of veer off from the group. So we'll see how that goes. So this is going to be an interesting topic. Again, isn't it amazing how the Democrats, they can rally for the bullshit, excuse my language, but they can rally for the bullshit, the illegals, people that can't vote for them. But when it comes to reparations or anything that has to do with black people, they ain't got the juice. So have you guys noticed that? Is it just me? And by the way, on my show earlier today, I mentioned, how many of you guys know there is 1 million illegal Americans living in Mexico right now? 1 million illegal Americans are living in Mexico right now. A good portion of those people live in the Tijuana area near San Diego. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's get into this conversation because I think this is very, very important, how they can rally and do all this great stuff for people who aren't supposed to be here. But when it comes for the very citizen, they ain't got no juice.
Absolutely. Brother Samuel, I saw you call me last night, but I'll be going to bed early and I'm doing Ramadan. So, I'm I'm getting through it. So call me when you get back to Mississippi so I can hear all about Savior's Day. I cannot wait. But yeah, I was already counting sheep when you called me. So yeah, I cannot wait to hear about it. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. For the sake of time. So, of course, maybe you don't know, but there is a partial shutdown going on in the government. Now, I'm going to give you guys the details before we get into it. But I was actually kind of thinking about this earlier, and then I happened across the video of a brother who was kind of talking about, you know what, let me show the video of him first, and then I'll explain it.
I truly find it ironic that the Democrat Party chose the month of February, out of all months, to hold the government hostage. The month of so-called Black History Month, right? And I don't go with Black History Month because I think that the attributes of Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, is actually American history. So it's not a month. You can't just throw it all in a month. But besides the point, I find it odd that the very political party that uses Black people to do the fighting, do the bleeding, decided to shut down the government where a lot of poor, not just Black, but white, brown, red, and yellow, needed the tax money and other subsidies to come in. But they shut down the government. It's very odd that they did this for illegal immigrants. And I want you to understand what is truly important to the Democrat Party. It is not poor, Black, white, red, yellow, American citizens. No. It is their new voter base, illegal immigrants. And not even, good illegal immigrants. It's the dangerous kind. I mean, we saw it with the Abrego Garcia. You would never see Democrats go over the limb for any white criminal, Black criminal, Hispanic criminal who are American. No, it has to be a foreigner. We've seen it with so many different cases where Democrats go on the limb, even go out of the country to another country in defense of illegal immigrants. So, I just wanted to point out the hypocrisy. They are not fighting for American citizens. No, they are fighting for illegal immigrants.
Okay. So shout out to that brother King Millennial is his name. We'll give him credit, King Millennial. But he basically said, pay attention to what's important to the Democrats. As we know, they have been seen fighting for illegal immigration, and now they are participating in a government shutdown. Basically, they refuse to concede or work together with the Republicans. I'm not saying that the Republicans are all right. I'm just telling you what they're refusing to do because they want ICE reform. And so basically, I want to give you all the information before we move on. I says as of February 23rd, which is today, which is also my sister's birthday. So happy birthday to my sister. A partial, she said she's expecting a check in the mail, Donovan. So as of February 23rd, 2026, a partial federal government shutdown is in effect, specifically targeting the Department of Homeland Security. The shutdown began on February 14th after Congress failed to reach an agreement on a new funding bill, primarily due to intense political deadlock over immigration and customs enforcement, ICE, for lack of better words, or operations. Now, it says the shutdown is limited to the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, meaning agencies like Transportation Security Administration, TSA, the Coast Guard, the Secret Service, FEMA, and parts of ICE and Customs and Border Patrol are affected. So basically, sounds like they're about to miss a paycheck, and it sounds like including that of Trump's security detail, right? And I don't know if y'all heard that they took a man out not too long ago at Mar-a-Lago for being near too close to Trump. Okay, if you haven't already seen that. Now, hundreds of thousands of employees are working without pay or non-essential activities, such as certain disaster recovery efforts by FEMA have been paused while immigration enforcement continues. The shutdown has stalled the oversight and funding mechanisms for those agencies. The shutdown is expected to continue for the immediate future as Congress is on recess for the week of February 23rd, so this week, with no high-level negotiations occurring. So there's nothing going on right now, right? Now, Democratic leaders have blocked a clean, quote unquote, funding bill that does not include reform, arguing that the current, more aggressive tactics used by federal immigration agents under Trump administration require strict oversight. Now, it says the standoff was intensified by the deaths of U.S. citizens Renee Nicole Good and Alex Pretty in Minnesota. Notice there's no mention of Keith Porter there in Los Angeles. That says, who were killed by federal agents in January 2026, leading Democrats to demand that ICE behave, this is a quote, like every other law enforcement agency in the country. Well, aren't they? Aren't they behaving like every other law enforcement?
Do we want them? Yeah. Do we want them to act like every other law enforcement?
I mean, I think they are behaving like every other law enforcement. This is a quote, right? They want them to behave like every other law enforcement agency in the country. And it's like, yikes, okay? And which it's crazy. So anyway, reports suggest that Democratic senators are under significant pressure from their base to not concede on these issues. So basically, don't budge like you've budged before, because before they've kind of given in, right? Chuck Schumer was under fire the first time there was a shutdown looming, and that he gave in and people were mad at him, saying that he needs to step down. Okay. Now, Democrats have outlined the 10 common sense reform to rein in ICE. Their main demands include judicial warrants, basically requiring ICE agents to obtain warrants from judges to make arrests on private property rather than administrative warrants, no mass visibility, use of force standards, requiring body-worn cameras during public interactions, and implementing a strict code of conduct for force similar to local law enforcement, and limiting surveillance, ending the use of roving patrols, facial recognition technologies, and restricting enforcement actions in sensitive locations like schools, hospitals, and churches. Now, in closing, it says Republicans have deemed these demands non-starters, quote unquote, arguing they are designed to hinder rather than regulate interior enforcement, especially as ICE reports an increase in threats and assaults on agents. So that is the crux of it. Democrats are basically saying, hey, you need to reform ICE, as I just said. And until you do, Republicans, y'all agree to do that, we are going to keep the government shut down. Now, this time, I would say that the Democrats probably have a little bit more leverage, because it's not, and I don't want to say people like the ICE agents and, TSA and all. TSA always seem like they in the mix, but like there's no food stamps or anything like that endangered. So, and of course, again, ICE agents won't be getting paid. So the Democrats are like, well, when you guys want to come to the table with us, then we'll do that. Now, I want to show y'all a couple of videos. This one is Justin Pearson, who is a state assembly member in Tennessee. He is running for Congress. And this is what he said, what kind of a conversation that he had on CNN.
Abolish ICE, we have to abolish the Customs and Border Patrol in the way they currently exist and replace them with something that actually does the work that we need for them to do, which is why we need a Congress that works and that is effective at holding these people in this administration accountable. I'll tell you what the work is not. The work is not killing American citizens.
You said the work we need them to do. I'm interested in your opinion. What
Absolutely.
is the work that we need them to do?
Absolutely. One, the work is not killing American citizens.
So what is the work we need them to do?
Well, first, let's look at what they don't need to do. They don't need to go into communities like Memphis,
Do they need to
Tennessee,
deport illegal aliens?
where they're currently terrorizing and traumatizing our communities. What we also need to make sure is is that we have elected officials who are creating a pathway of opportunity for people who are currently undocumented.
Do we need a federal law enforcement agency to deport illegal aliens, yes or no?
We do need a federal law enforcement agency that deals with immigration, that doesn't kill people.
To deport illegal aliens,
what we
yes
do
or no?
also need is laws that make sure that people who are undocumented...
Is there a single illegal alien that you would deport?
You know, this is what I want you to focus on.
Is there one?
I want you to focus on. There are a lot of people in this country and in this community, in our communities, that have done so much to make them better, and we need to be prioritizing how we create opportunity.
Is this the Democratic position for 26?
The Democratic position in 26 is that we don't terrorize American citizens, we don't terrorize undocumented people.
If you were advising Democrats in 26, would you advise them to answer this question this way, that you can't say there is a single illegal alien that should be deported by the federal government?
What is shocking to me is that you think you can narrow the challenges of immigration,
20 million
that you can challenge the issues of immigration into one yes or no question, when the reality is the policies and practices
should we follow the law is the yes or no question.
Have led to the deaths of American citizens and has not produced the results.
No deportations. That's the Democratic position.
Okay, so again, that was Justin Pearson from Tennessee, and that was a guy by the name of Scott. He seems like he's a regular on the Abby Phillips show there on CNN, so credit to them. But basically, Scott was pinning him down, basically. So you're basically saying that y'all wouldn't deport anybody, right? You know, because Justin is talking in circles. Well, you know, there's some people here that are good and this, that, and the other. So he's basically saying that ICE as well needs to be reined in. Now, this is Hakeem Jeffries, who is the Democrat, I guess, what is he, like I don't know, he's a Democrat, one of the minority leader or something like that.
Yeah, no, he's the minority leader in the House.
Yeah, minority leader in the House. And this is what he had to say last week, because again, they're on recess.
This is day 5 of the Trump Republican shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security, meaning they've chosen to shut down the Coast Guard, shut down FEMA, and shut down TSA rather than dramatically reform ICE. Donald Trump spent the weekend on the golf course with Ron DeSantis. And so we've not seen any high-level effort coming from the president or from the House or Senate Republican leaders. We have no idea where they're at in the midst of a crisis of their own making.
Okay, so again, Hakeem Jeffries, ladies and gentlemen. So basically what you saw there is a small examples of some of the Democrats who are basically like, we're okay with the government being partially shut down until the Republicans come to the table with us on reforming ICE. Again, ICE is the department that, you know, in a sense deals with illegal immigration. They catch them, detain them or whatever it is, and then they deport them or whatever it is. Now, ICE has been around for about 20 years or so. Now, of course, I would imagine there's some sort of an ICE department in every country to some degree, right? You cannot just be over there how you want to be over there, when you want to be over there with no paperwork or nothing like that. But for whatever reason here in the United States.
Well, you know, you were in the Dominican Republic. They have a form of ICE there.
Yeah, right. Don't I know it? But over here, I guess it's different. And there's the Democrats, they're saying, well, you know, in a sense, and this is what I take from it, we want to protect illegal immigrants because you want to reform ICE and have it them behave like the regular police departments. It's like, so do you hate the illegal immigrants? Because if you want them to behave like the regular police departments, well, you can ask us how that is. The regular law enforcement, they play rock'em sock'em, especially with Black Americans. And so, again, the Democrats are illustrated that they care more about the illegal immigration than they do the American citizens, right? What about the people who are looking forward to their paychecks, but yet the Democrats are saying, well, and I get it, it's called leverage and all that other stuff, but we would rather y'all not get paid until the Republicans say that they're going to reform ICE. Now, I will say this, I don't agree with how ICE is doing a lot of the things, but I do agree that ICE is important. But as we said, too, you have to do some concession in that, you know, you have people out there protesting ICE. You got the Democrats telling everybody how to avoid ICE and not come outside, and, you know, all these other things. So you got this cantankerous interaction going on. So, and I'm not excusing ICE. I don't stand with ICE. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. I don't stand with ICE because ICE is the police. But then to the point of people are saying ICE are afraid. Yeah, you got people out there who are kind of doing a lot. So that might ramp up, I guess, how ICE is behaving. I mean, it's the police, nevertheless. They probably act that way anyway. But that is a pure illustration of the Democrats saying, we don't care about the rest of y'all. And keep it real. That's how they ended up in this situation in the first place, because they were all right with mass immigration when Biden and Kamala were in office. So people swung all the way to the right. And then he got your, Trump and the MAGA and all the stuff we're seeing now. So it's like, I personally think that the Democrats will flip either the House or the Senate. I don't know, maybe both. But as Black Americans, we got a lot of things to think about, because we are actually going to help put the Democrats back in power, because we vote for them the most. So we're going to have that conversation a little bit more. But Donovan, what say you? And then I'm going to get into the comment section.
Yeah, real quick. Five Rings 23 says, when the Democratic Party is in office, the FBA community suffers. When Republicans are in the office, everybody gets the smoke. Let the smoke continue. So again, this issue, I support ICE. Okay. I support ICE for the main reason is people that should not be here. We can't go to any other country and do what these people are doing here. They are taking resources and things that are specifically set aside for American citizens, and some programs specifically for FBAs, Black Americans. And I don't want the competition. So I was on my program yesterday, and I used the analogy of this. 27 million people have come into the country. There is this one job, I'm just going to use this. There's one job available. It pays millions of dollars, right? But there's only one position for it. I want you guys to imagine this. There's one position. It's you versus 3 other candidates. I have no doubt in my mind you will smoke those other 3 candidates and you will get that job. But with 27 million people coming in, that is more competition. So now I'm dealing with 400 people versus the 3. The odds are against us when we let this many people come into the country. And not only that, I don't want competition for my kids or my grandkids down the road. Do you guys realize, and I've said this on several times, in California, Black people have no voice here. We have no say-so on what gets built. We have no say-so on what gets passed, where the resources go, or any of that. You want to know why? Because we are outgunned and outmanned by massive illegal immigration, and we don't know who's citizen and who's not. But we do know this. The Latinos and the Asians have a coalition that goes against us. This is why immigration hurts Black people. Look at what's going on. We talked about this yesterday. It is a bad thing. It is a bad thing. The Democrats are doubling down. Isn't this strange? They are doubling down on illegal immigration when it was part of the reason they lost the last election, because they brought in illegal immigration. That was one of Donald Trump's and MAGA's biggest points. And so they're going to do it again? Make it make sense. I see a lot of great comments in the comment section. I want to hear what you guys got to say. But let me tell you this. If you are one of these people, and there was a person in the chat, Cynthia 317, and glad to have you here. Glad to be here, Cynthia. I just want to read your comment.
It's on the screen.
Real quick. Yeah. Yeah, good for them. You people sound ignorant. Texas, Arizona, California were taken from them. They are they are more American than white people. Send their asses back to the Caucasus Mountains. Okay. The definition of ignorant is talking about what you don't know. Read the Treaty of El Delgado. You are pushing a narrative that is not true. The Mexican-American War, we went all the way down to the halls of Montezuma, and we could have taken the whole country, but we didn't, because that would have been a big old insurrection type, big old problem, right? But ignorance is talking about what you don't know. The Treaty of El Delgado, the Western states were purchased for $50 million, plus any lawsuits against Mexico with a few other concessions that go in it. Go and read that before you start talking about ignorance. Ignorance is what you just said in that last comment, because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's ignorant. But let's get into it.
Wow. Audrey, how you doing? It says Polly Market odds have Democrats at 85% chance to win the House this year. It was 63 not too long ago. There's the odds of Democrats winning the Senate have also increased from 24 to 41 in recent months. Yeah, I think they have a good chance of getting both because unfortunately for the Trump administration, yeah, they doing too much. You know, they doing too much with the, you know, white supremacy and Christian nationalism and, you know, just, I mean, even here in Texas, the governor Greg Abbott, he's up for re-election, and a lot of people are like, I don't know about that. It was cool until you started talking about you forcing the Bible in school and prayer in school and forcing Christianity and just Charlie Kirk stuff all over the place. They like, get somebody else to do it.
Right, but I want you guys to understand this also. Trump is in his second term. Do you think he gives a damn if he wins or loses at this point? This is why they're pushing hard to do what they're doing. When a president is in his second term, any promises that were made, anything that was said is off the table. It's completely off the table. That's why when Obama got reelected, remember what he told black people? I know I didn't really push the way I should have pushed, but if you guys put me back in there, and I'm paraphrasing, put me back in there, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done. We put his ass in there, and he spat in our face again. Because you have nothing to lose. He can't run for office again. Everything's off the table.
Absolutely. And hello to everybody that's come on here. Sister Sunlight, hope you're doing well. Pamela says, I don't know why more illegal immigrants ain't self-deporting. They need to get out. Some of them probably are, but some of them probably thinking these Democrats are going to somehow, you know, make it favorable for us to stay, right? Because the government is shut down and things like that. So maybe they're just kind of waiting it out. So I think, right? Ursa, how you doing? It says, see, they want immigration reform. Those so-called black representatives aren't working on prison industrial complex reform. No, they don't care about black people at all or what's going on in the prison system here. They only care about the illegal immigration. I think everybody should pay attention to that. That's what your Democratic leadership, misleadership, I should say, that's what they're doing. They are, you know, shutting it down, right? Or willing to do that for illegal immigration and nobody else. I mean, we haven't heard them say anything about our reparations. They're not going to say nothing about our reparations. And again, like I said, there'll be a lot of black folks that's going to go to the polls and vote for them anyway. And they ain't said a peep about what's due us, but they want to give in a sense. And I'll be Chill, I saw you say that the Somalis are demanding reparation. I kind of saw that. I'm not sure if that's what it is. One of those videos looked like it was AI, if we're watching the same thing. But in a sense, illegal immigrants are getting a form of reparations, right? They're getting help to stay here, especially in the sanctuary cities and things like that. But again, Black Americans are going to show up and show out and get absolutely nothing. So, hey, Thunder, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Are you enjoying this cool weather for the 2 days we got left of it or something like that? Cal, how you doing? So all the resources are going out there to immigrants. I should have raised your comment. Homeland and we FBAs are left out of the resources here in America. Yep, because again, Black Americans will go and vote for the Democrats, right? MC Fact, what's going on? What you said, certain politicians have said they're for the undocumented. A lot of them have. CJ, how you doing? You said Democrats will double down because they know Black people will vote for them anyway. I agree with you. It's just the way it is, you know. We are loyal to a fault. Earth, Ocean, Moon, what's going on with you? Says Guadalupe Hidalgo. Okay. All right. So you're talking about what Donovan was talking about. Let's see. Dear self, it says, hi, Donovan. Oops. My comment. It says you came up with that scholarship. And let's see. Tim, how you doing? It says, what's good, fam? It says, I don't have a problem with ICE existence, but I do believe some heavy reform is necessary. Honestly, for reform should be applied to all law enforcement types of operations, anything that afford my Black Americans some safeguard. And to your point, we were supposed to be getting, as far as Black Americans, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. We never got that. It's still it's stalled in the House, I believe it is, or something like that. I think there was some things done on a federal.
It stalled in the House. They Nancy Pelosi shelved it. Didn't stall.
Yeah. So that was the real. Well, some rather police reform that was supposed to be for us, and now they have shut the government down and willing to shut the government down in order to get ICE reform for illegal immigrants, and that's just a direct slap in the face to Black Americans. I know a lot of people won't see it that way, But it really is because, you know, a lot of those are your Black misleadership, and they're supposed to be helping you, and they're not, right? I mean, Black Americans are still the most endangered. Even though the illegal immigrants are going through some things, and I'm not saying it's right, Black Americans are still the most endangered, and yet nobody's shutting down a government to protect us. That is very telling. Um, and let's see. Pamela says, "I despise Obama. He's a liar." Oh, Beverly, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says people are crazy to vote Democrat again after all the fraud and illegal immigration. Wow. Easy RA, what's going on with you? Says they gave illegals all that cash and didn't even mention reparations. No, and they're not going to. X Malcolm, what's going on with you? Malcolm X, I think that's what it is. He says, and thank you so much for that. It says DNC need aliens to replace the population loss to red states before 2030 census. DNC will not back down. If the census was held today, they will lose seats.
Wait, I think he meant blue states, because that doesn't make any sense. Why would the DNC? Yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah, I think so too. So blue states. I mean, I don't know how true that is. I haven't really done any research in regards to that, but that is a speculation that that's what they were trying to bring them over here for, why they opened up the gates the way they did, as some sort of replacement theory type thing. Let's see. And Marjorie says, delineation is the most successful method for Black Americans who have struggled continuously with the white supremacist system that have given a boost up to every other immigrant, illegal persons for decades. Yeah. And again, like I said, we're going to continue to vote for them. That's what we'll continue to show up and do that. And I don't even know how you fix that at this point. Now I get it. There's a lot of things that are going on, and some of the things seem to have to do with Black Americans, like they're removing some plaques and they're, you know, regulating the African American Museum and stuff like that. But those are things that we aren't going to really have an adverse effect on us. Even some of the voting rights things, if it didn't involve Black Americans, they wouldn't be talking about voters' rights. They're only concerned about that for everybody else. They're not concerned about Black Americans. I know they say that they are. They only use us because they know that the Voting Rights Act and any of those other civil rights acts were originally for us, but everybody else has hijacked them and they have used them for their benefits. But again, if it wasn't for everybody else being affected by it, and if it's just Black Americans, they would not give a rat's behind at all. So I guess I get it. The Trump administration is doing a lot, and there does needs to be some changes, but the Democrats will get in there and not have any really feel any fire due to the benign neglect of Black Americans. And so then what? Then what?
You know, this is what I hate. I hate the narrative that they make it seem like the Republican and Trump is doing way above board what any other law enforcement agency is already doing. Under Obama, what happened under Obama? Wasn't that the who's the kid that got killed in Florida?
Trayvon Martin.
Trayvon Martin and things. All of these things started happening under Democratic control. Under Joe Biden, what happened under his control? It seems that the tick of violence against Black people happens a lot under Democratic control regimes, Bill Clinton and so on, so forth. And I'm not excusing one or the other. White supremacy is white supremacy, how you look at it. I have a problem with the fact that people try to ramp up because they've got Trump derangement syndrome. Oh, it's so bad, whatever. Where were these people when Black people were being brutalized in the 1980s? Where were these people when Black people were being massively incarcerated in the 1990s? Not a peep out of them. And it pisses me off that they use these exact same talking points to generate sympathy for people who shouldn't be here to begin with. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and Brother Thunder, you said, so DK, did you hear about the Somali community wants reparations? What do you think might happen if they actually get it over FBA? So like I said, I had saw a video of somebody discussing it, but one of the videos that they put to it looked like it was AI, because she was the lady. The video looked weird, but she was asking for $9 million per child or something like that. So I was like, okay, I don't know about that. But what I did find, I'll read you what I found about Somalis and reparations. So it says reparations for Somalis in America are currently focused on advocacy for harm caused by U.S. actions, including demands for community groups regarding ICE trauma. That's the quote. from immigration raids and reparations for Somali civilians killed or injured in U.S. drone strikes, despite available unspent congressional funds for this purpose. Says military action or harm. While the U.S. military admitted to killing 5 Somali civilians and injuring 11 others in strikes between 2019 and 2020, victims have not received formal reparations. Somali community groups in Minnesota have called for reparations due to trauma inflicted by federal governments or ICE. And it says arguments for reparations are sometimes framed around the economic impact of U.S. foreign policy and domestically the need to address systemic wealth gaps. Says Amnesty International has been active in pressing for accountability and reparations for victims of U.S. airstrikes in Somalia. While there have been discussions around reparations, the U.S. government has not officially implemented a program specifically for Somali nationals in the U.S. regarding these issues. So that's what I found.
Let me tell you this. If Somalis get any form of monetary payment for the United States, FBAs are going to blow up. Okay. Now notice, if you guys have been paying attention,
figuratively speaking,
if you guys have been paying attention, billions of dollars was taken out of this country and abused in the system up there in Minnesota. Billions of dollars. They still can't find it. They still can't track it. A lot of it went to Kenya, they say. Whatever the deal is. And these people have the nerve to talk about they want reparations and all this other stuff. You've got to be, where's the common sense here? Where's the common sense? You are here under TPS. You don't have, you're not even a citizen here. You don't have any rights here. You don't have any case to say you're just in a, it's like being a DACA person. You have no path to citizenship. You're just in limbo. Now we're asking you to go back to your country, but I want you guys to pay attention to this. All the billions of dollars that these Somalis allegedly stole and took out of the country, now all their businesses are failing, but yet they say they run legitimate businesses. All of a sudden, now they need this money. They've been here for 30 years. They weren't asking for reparations for 30 years. I was in Somalia when the stuff with the Black Hawk Down was going on and all that other stuff. Let me tell you something. In 30 years, they didn't ask for a doggone thing. But the minute this administration shuts down the scamming that they are doing, now they're hollering for reparations. Y'all better pay attention and follow the money.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. So yeah, apparently they are asking for reparations. So Thunder, you asked, do you think they'll get it? I think there's a good chance they'll get it before us. Absolutely. And I'm not saying it to be mean or facetious. Yeah, I think they'll get it before us because as I said, I didn't know a whole lot about the Somali community until I seen all of the conversation about it. So I did some research and there are a well-organized group of people. They have, unity, whether we like it or not. It is not me making this up. It's just a fact. They have more unity now. Obviously, in Somalia, they have unity, but they had a lot of things going on. Of course, we know that they originated, or not originated, they came over here rather due to what happened in Somalia, due to the U.S. government, all the way back to the Nixon administration, helping to destabilize their government. So yes, they were asked, given refugee status. It's just the facts, right? Whether we like it or not. The government and all administrations have done that. They brought them over here under refugee status. And a group in Minnesota, some sort of like nonprofit said, hey, we can take them. They can come over here. So that's why the Somalis ended up predominantly. They're the second largest population of Somalis outside of East Africa that's in Minnesota. So that's how they ended up here. Now, with all that in mind, he had all these efforts of people bringing them over here under refugee status, and they got set up. And then they brought in the second and third wave of Somalis, and this started happening in the like the mid 90s, right? So they started just getting stabilized, right, with housing and money and all kinds of stuff, and they started bringing everybody else over here under the temporary protected status and just different things like that. A lot of them were born here, right? Because you're thinking about the 90s, hell, they'd be in their 30s at this point. They're born during that time, so a lot of them are born here. So I say all that to say, with so many people backing them and protecting them and the unity that they have, yes, I believe that they will get reparations before Black Americans. But you know what? I don't blame the Somalis. Hell, again, I don't blame any of the other people that came over here, especially under the Biden administration, when they said, hey, the door is open for you to come over here, not only for you to come over here, but to get all that you can get, and we're going to give it to you. You're not going to have to get no pushback or none of that. But how do they get to do that? Especially what happened in the last administration. We, and I say we, I mean the people who voted for Kamala and Biden, we helped them do that. We as Black Americans helped the Democrats more than any group of people and get no help more than any group of people from the Democrats. But I don't know. I guess we can't speak loud enough. We can't give enough facts. People are going to be emotionally attached, and I get it. Because on the other side, the Trump administration, they're doing a lot. And so what they do to us is they play on our emotions because we are an emotional people. Let's keep it a buck. They tell us how we're such the victim and Trump is doing this, that, the other to us. But if you stop and really think about it, what is Trump really doing specifically to us that he's not doing more so to everybody else? As I said, and somebody else said, Trump has pulled the wool off of everybody's eyes and let them know that you can get it too. You aren't special. If you don't sit in the same tax bracket that I got, then I don't mess with you. So will they get it before us? And they call me Nostradamus sometimes, like Nostradamus. I believe that they will. And it all has to do with their unity. They move as a unit. Us, we don't do that. We don't move as a unit. The only way we move as a unit is the way we vote. We predominantly vote for one party, and Dr. Claude Anderson says we are the only group of people that votes for our oppression as a block. That's it. But we don't vote. We don't move as a group or as a unit as far as the money, as far as the businesses, as far as the Black man and woman, you name it. We don't move that way. So then we'll be mad when we see the Somalis get a check. And you know what I'm going to say? And I'm going to say this respectfully. Shut your mouth. Because you whine all day long. When I say you, I mean us. We whine all day long about what we ain't getting, but then look how we act. Why would you vote for something or somebody that keep kicking you in your tailbone and saying you don't matter, but everybody else matters over you, whether they're illegal immigrants or refugees or whatever it is? Hell, we had refugees in Katrina. And I'm not saying it was refugees, but that's what the United States government under Bush's administration called Black Americans predominantly. They call them refugees in their own damn country and took forever to help them, right? They don't get no reparations or nothing like that for what happened to them. But I'm telling you, don't get mad when you see it happen. You know what you should do? Stick yourself as Black Americans because you line up and you help them do it to you.
Yeah, and you got to remember that they stay on code even when it comes down to the scamming. The women are in on it. The men are on it. How many of you guys saw that interview where the girl was like, scamming is wrong? She said something and she covered her mouth. She couldn't finish the statement because they're all on code. But again, this is the culture of where they come from. I mean, they got to go out and get it every day. See, as Americans, average Americans, we do not understand how outside of the United States, other people are living in these so-called I say developing countries because some of these countries are not third world as we were. Remember those old commercials where the African is starving and you got to put the money in a little coin box and you send it over there. Hopefully it'll get over there, whatever. So these are developing countries. Most Americans do not understand how these people have to hustle every day or they're not going to eat. They got to hustle every day or, things aren't going to get done. We have a social safety net that people take advantage of. And of course, that's going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks because you're supposed to reapply for your SNAP benefits and all that other stuff. They don't have that over there. So in a lot of those countries, so they got to eat as they live. You know what I mean? They got to get it as they can get it. And that's why they have the hustle mentality when they come over here and we look at them. And that's why they call us lazy in general, because we don't have the get up and go because we have Zaddy, Uncle Sugar, that's going to help us in a lot of situations.
Absolutely. And hello to everybody that's come on here. Love and appreciate you. And I want to just say thank you, Marjorie, for the donation. Love and appreciate you for that. And you say Trump said it's been prophesized that Trump ain't going to make it. You know what? I agree with you. I don't know. He's got, 3 years in it? I don't know. I just don't see him doing a whole full term. But the best scenario for the Democrats in that, Trump being kind of Lame duck is his last term. He can't run, as they could tie his hands if they do get control of the House or the Senate or both. They could tie his hands. They could say, no, not so fast, right? And it looks like the Supreme Court is starting to do it a little bit because they really ruined his day with stopping his tariff plans, right? So now he's on a he's on his war horse against the Supreme Court. It's like, but them is your homies, though.
But here's the thing, though. See, people got to understand how this American republic works. The Supreme Court interprets law. They don't have power to enforce it. Congress does. And these congressional people don't have the balls to do what it is they need to do to put this man in check. Everything, all of this craziness that is going on, please, everybody, please explain to me how Mitch McConnell, being in the minority, halted Obama at every turn. But yet the Democrats, who have way more numbers than Mitch McConnell had in the House and the Senate, can't seem to do anything against Trump. You want to know why? There's one party. It's called the ruling party, and they're playing political theater. My side, your side, my side, your side. Lakers, Celtics, Lakers, Celtics. It's BS. Mitch McConnell just put the brakes on Obama's agenda after those 2 years, and they got the House back. How can somebody in the minority do that? But yet the Democrats saying, we tried.
Yeah, and that's been the criticism of the Democratic Party, is that they are kind of weak. Well, type thing. But the Republicans, which is how they ended up with some of those Supreme Court justices, they're like, well, we agreed. This is the Democrats. We agreed that we wouldn't, replace anybody while, I guess it was Congress or something like that was in limbo. And the Republicans like, well, we're going to renege on that agreement. And that's how they, but from what I understand, Biden could have done it. Obama could have did it, but, they didn't. They were playing nice, right? Playing nice in the sandbox. The Republicans are like, I throw the sand in your eyes and keep it pushing. Tidbits, how you doing? So Somalis are what the whites get for trying to replace us. Yeah, and it's not even that many of them over here. Things like 90, 80,000 or something like that in Minnesota, just in Minnesota. So I hear what you're saying.
Because there's a bunch of them in Columbus, and they found a big enclave in Seattle.
Yeah, and I mean, if they're here legally, I don't have a problem with people being here legally, or whatever it is. But and Maya, you said that the SAVE Act is going to, I guess, be a direct benefit for Black Americans because, in a sense, it's going to curtail the Latino voters. Well, I should say there's a lot of Latinos that are here legally, born here, legally and all that. And I know perhaps maybe
I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump.
But I know they probably got the spotlight because it seems like there's more of them being targeted, and maybe that was Trump's original target. There's some other people getting wrapped up into that, but I just want to clarify that there's a lot of Latinos here that are citizens and all of that. So not all Latinos are here illegally. I just want to say that. So let's see. Diane says, haven't the Somalis stolen enough of the money from America? I mean, yeah, some would argue that, for sure. But let's not forget that white woman. I forget her name, Amy, somebody or something. Yeah, she was at the helm of that. People, for whatever reason, they don't talk about her. And I get it. Somalis, they're just kind of the focal point. And, theft is wrong. But theft is as American as apple, as American as apple pie. Here, my phone's ringing. I don't know who that is. As American as apple pie. You know what I mean? Who in the heck is calling me from that number? I don't even know. So yeah, they stole us. But yeah, theft is wrong. Black Plumber, how you doing? Says good point. JJ says Klingons and Vulcans will probably get reparations. Prefer you crazy for FBAs. Maya, you said, where are the FBA in Minnesota? There are more eligible FBA voters. What the hell is going on in Minnesota FBA? See, that's a conversation we need to be having. We ain't having that conversation. What we're doing is we're having a conversation about what other people are doing instead of what we're supposed to be doing, right? If we talk about what we're supposed to be doing, then we can say, hey, Black Americans there in Minnesota, did you know A, B, C, and D? Like I said, I don't know everything. I didn't know what the situation with the Somalis. I just saw for everybody that I saw, I'm bouncing up and down like a ball. I don't know why, but everybody that I saw talking about the Somalis, I didn't see anybody giving any historical context. So I was like, okay, well, let me see exactly why they're over here. Because I'm all about the whys and the hows and the whens and the who's and the what's, right? So I was like, oh, because the way people were talking, in a sense, if I didn't have any like reasoning skills, I would think that they just poof, the Somalis just ended up here. But then when I did some research, I was very intrigued. I said, oh, there's a backstory as to why they're here. Okay. So, but there needs to be some education as to why they're here, and to Black Americans, like, yo, state and local level elections are important. And when you show up for something for you. What do I say? WIFBA. What's in it for Black Americans? That's what we have to start doing. Okay. And start having the conversations with us. Forget talking about everybody else all the time. It's cool sometimes. I mean, we got to mention them at certain things for context or whatever, but I always like to draw it back to us. If I'm going to do that, but what about Black Americans? How can we stave off some of that? We know it's not the Republican Party in a sense. I don't think it is. That's for the illegal immigration. And we listen, they don't like the Somalis no more than they like us. Okay. It's the Democrats that do that, but they cannot do it without the vote of Black America. It's just a fact.
Yeah, and please do not fool yourself to think that Republicans are not for illegal immigration. These corporations depend on it. They do not want to pay Americans a fair wage, much less health care benefits and everything that goes with it. So what they do, there's only one party, you guys. It's called the ruling party. 4 years, the Democrats have it. 4 years, the Republicans have it. 8 years, the Democrats have it. 8 years, the Republican had it. And they're laughing all the way to the bank because guess what is the one thing both of these parties have in common? Corporate donors. They're owned by the same corporate donors. What did the Democrats always say? The biggest problem in politics is money in politics. We got to get money in politics. They had the House and the Senate under Biden for 2 years. Did they even bother to repeal Citizens United? No, they didn't. We know the Republicans ain't going to do it. Even under Obama, did they repeal Citizens United? No, they didn't. Corporate representation. This is what we got. And guess what? They're not representing you. They're representing the corporations.
Absolutely. Hey, one who cares. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. And came back says, I blame the Democrats, politicians that look like this, that they've been advocating for the immigrants. Yeah, they have been, and we've been helping them do it. I mean, some of that, we got to take the blame. We can't keep, it's like, you get a fork and you stick it into the socket of the wall, right? It shocked me. Stop doing that. You do it again. It shocked me. Stop doing that. Why won't it stop shocking me? Why won't you stop putting the fork in the socket in the wall? That would, so a lot of this is self-inflicted at this point. You know what I mean? Marjorie,
I want to bring this up real quick. Even after it was found out in congressional hearings that we went to war on a lie, was anybody punished? Was anybody punished? Billions and trillions of dollars. Think of all of the Americans that were wounded, some of them that were killed, all of the Iraqis and the Afghans that have been killed. Nobody was held accountable. And they do all this in our names. You guys got to think about this stuff. I mean, the Democrats had the power to do all of this stuff and to bring these people to justice, and they didn't do it. And vice versa. One party, the corporate party. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Margie, it says, Demetra, 100%. Demetra, they don't really care about us. They stripped all of our taxes and funding from our communities to build up non-Black communities. Look at Chinatown, Little Haiti, Little Italy. Well, yeah, and again, I don't blame those people. I'm never going to blame the immigrants. I'm just not, because they're coming over here and they're getting what's being given to them. Let's keep it a buck too. A lot of their places, their countries is destabilized. There's a lot going on. And Herschel, you said the Italians stabilized Somali. They might have had a hand in it, but it was the United States.
No. I had to correct them on that. After World War II, Germany and Italy were stripped of any colonies that they possibly have had. So the modern destabilization of Somalia had nothing to do with Italy because they didn't have the power.
That is correct. And the U.S. got together with some of their, I know it's probably the wrong term, but guerrilla groups or whatever, the rogue groups, the terrorist groups over there. And they like they always do, right? They fund these guerrilla groups and things like that. And they help the states overthrow and destabilize the government. And once that's done, they're like, okay, bye, suckers. And of course, that's they're really doing that to tap into whatever resources may be there, or they want a different chain, a different government, like in Venezuela. Like they're trying to do is it's a couple places the Trump administration they're challenging the elections over there in different countries, saying that they got their leaders. Is it India?
I was saying, remember Libya under Obama and all those people? Mm-hmm.
Yes, so they say that the president or the leadership is illegitimate, right? Things like that. It was somewhere else just recently. I can't remember where it was, but anyway. So that's the kind of things that they do, and they help fund these groups to destabilize the government, and they leave the people with famine and disease, and it's a lot, right? So I hear what you're saying though. But back to what you're saying, Marjorie. Yeah, I don't blame them from coming over here and getting those things, because a lot of times, as I was saying, their countries or whatever it is destabilized and is left in shambles, like Haiti. The United States government under the Clinton administration, they did that. So I get why they're coming over here. But the problem is, okay, great, deal with them, but you cannot neglect Black Americans, because the original sin of slavery has not been atoned for, paid for, any of that other stuff. So from our vantage point, we see those things, and I get it. It's in a sense misdirected anger. The anger should be directed at the party that allows them to come over here, or both parties that are complicit in the destabilization of governments. And let's just keep it a buck. We can bring up a word like Palestine. The Democrats and the Republicans are on board with sending weapons and things. Y'all do the rest with all of that, but they're on board with that. So we misplace the anger at the people that come over here instead of the people that are the reason that they come over here. Because if you speak to most immigrants, they'll say, I'd rather be back home. But home ain't what it used to be due to, a whole host of other things. So, but again, Marjorie, we need to be mad at ourselves because we vote for the party who allows them to build up their towns. And real quick, there was a situation here. I can't remember. It's River something out, not River Oaks, but I guess it's a predominantly Black neighborhood where they are now starting to show up at the city council meetings and stuff and say, because they want to build another gas station. And they said the gas station that they have already in the neighborhoods got, gang and drug activity, but they want to build another one. And I thought, well, I know damn well they ain't a Black owner that want to build that gas station, whatever, in the Black neighborhood. It's probably somebody, Indian, or Arab or whatever it is, but yeah.
Yeah, see, and like I said, I agree with you. I don't have a problem, knowing what I know, that we help to destabilize their countries, whatever the deal is. The problem that I have with immigrants is the fact that when they decide to come here, because you can go to any countries in the world that will accept you. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't accept them, but you can go to these countries. But when you come to my country, you got to be, number one, be respectful and at least learn the history of the country and the community that you move into to assimilate. But again, if you don't want to do that, whatever. But my thing is, and I've said this, Demetra, all the time, don't just come to this country to get all the goodies and what you can get. Come in here and experience the whole American experience. Come and experience what this white man is really about. And if you hate Donald Trump, and a lot of people have this Trump deranged syndrome, I look at Trump as a premier statue to put for the world to see what the white man in America stands for. He is the prime example of what Blacks have been saying about this country since we've been here. He is the epitome of what America is about, white supremacy and all that other stuff. What, did you think we were joking? What, did you think we were lying? So come and get all of what this white man has to offer, good and bad.
Magnetic, you crazy. And thank you for the donation. Talking about that was me calling about your extended warranty. I don't know if I have an extended warranty. I wish I did. My car's so old. They're like, shoot, you need to pay us just because. And let's see here. Lovely T, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Just make sure I didn't skip anybody because I see Tim, and I'm going to get back to you, Brother Thunder. So Tim says reparations is a none and done for Black Americans. What is needed is a Black American unification, unified walk, but into an independent, quote unquote, direction that will floor the two big political parties. Maybe a Black American focused party similar to MAGA should be promoted. But how do we get Blacks to unite similar to the civil rights movement? Must we be exposed to a new Jim Crow society choke of pain to unit? So honestly, what do either of you think we as Americans Blacks should do? Go ahead, Donovan.
I'm just going to make it simple and sweet. There's nothing we can do. We do not have the numbers. It all comes down to numbers. Like I said, look at California. California is the blueprint of how you gentrify people physically out of the state and out of neighborhoods, and how you gentrify them politically. We do not have the numbers. 27 million people were let in this country. According to the census, there's 44 million Black people.
We can, at this point.
Yeah, we cannot produce in a 4-year period that type of number to even vie and compete. So, I'm not saying we can't get together, but when we get together, it doesn't mean anything. 6% of the population of California is Black. What say-so do we have here? None. And now they've moved these people into your communities, and a lot of people don't want to learn what happened to California, what happened to Chicago, what's happening in New York. What is going to be the next city is Boston. They're moving us out of these neighborhoods and strategically placing us in positions to where, even if you move to the South, what positive representation do we have down there that's getting us anything that's tangible? Absolutely nothing. And that's the problem. We don't have the numbers.
We don't have the numbers, but we have the money. We have the money. They said it would be $2 trillion soon. So we got the money. We just misappropriated, right? We give it away to everybody else. Again, 97% of almost $2 trillion in the near future, keeping 3% of that. So we have the money, and we have the power of the Black vote. It's still needed, especially for the Democrat Party. So we have some things we just refuse to get on board and move as one with that. And Brother Thunder says, am I wrong for saying that or thinking that President Trump is one of the fairest presidents we have ever had? We can all be equally comfortable, or we can all be equally uncomfortable. Now everyone is. It says, in that regards, I would say, yeah, everybody is getting it, right? If you don't got the kind of money he got, yeah, you getting it. Let's see, Brother Herschel says, again, I live in Minnesota amongst the Somalis. They are not as hardworking as you think. I didn't say they were hardworking. I don't know their work ethics, as I don't live around them. I'm saying they, regardless if they work hard or whatever, they work as a unit together. They are on the same page. They might be lazy, right? But lazy people can work together to figure out how to be lazy together so they can get what they need without minimal effort, right? So again, I'm not saying that they're hardworking. I'm saying that they're more unified. I hope that makes sense. So Novi, how you doing? So the Trump administration is not protecting the Christians in Nigeria. That's all a ploy to get to the alliance or the Sahel states. Yeah, absolutely. Come on now. Anybody think that Trump and them care about Christians? They don't care about Christians here. They're not even Christians, right? They're the Antichrist. But yet they're going over there and sending Nicki Minaj to go help the Christians in Nigeria of all places. Nothing wrong with Nigeria. I think, they need help if there's some of that stuff going on, but then Trump's called them S-hole countries and all kind of stuff. And now all of a sudden you're concerned about the Nigerian Christians if you don't knock it off. And anybody who believes that, I got a lot of sand to sell you in the Mojave Desert. Let's see. GH, how you doing? So Democrats fight like hell for immigrants. You better believe it. Shan, what's going on with you? We're doing well. Cannot complain. Just reading Magnetta's comment again. I don't know who that was calling me. 48 TCO, how you doing? Says I don't give a crap how long they've been here. Temporary protected status is temporary protected status. That's all. That's all. That's all. Yeah. That's what it is. He was trying to end it. Doesn't sound like he was able to do that. Trump has tried to do it a few times in his federal courts. Said no, you can't do that. So they gave him like a couple.
No, it's still on appeal. The president does have the power to end TPS, but it's on appeal.
Right. So he's been stopped temporarily. It's been halted. So if he had the power, he would just do it. Right.
No, but notice this though. They stopped the Somali thing, but they didn't stop the Haitian. They didn't stop the, you know what I mean? Isn't it kind of selective how America picks and chooses what groups they want to do this? And follow the money. Just follow the money, you guys.
Yeah, Brother Thunder, but what's in it for Black Americans? Yep, WIFBA. Yeah, we need to start using that every time it's a transaction. Well, what's in it for Black Americans? Oh, nothing. Okay, next. Edward, how you doing? Says technocrats as well. Okay, let's see. Sister Sunlight, you talking to Thunder. Ursula says we know now time to organize and get to work. Yep, and Tim says the ruling party game, translation ping pong, pretty much, right? They all in the same game. African Native. And Cal Riley says, I agree, brother. This is what Brother Elder Dr. Claude Anderson been trying to tell us. Yeah. African Native says, even going to the moon on a lie. Right, allegedly, right? MC Facts is a part of being on code as FBA is taking a quid pro quo approach to voting. Yeah, what's in it for Black Americans, right? Roz, how you doing? Says, I'm sorry I'm late, love and blessings to the family. Well, you probably not that late. It was probably me, not you. Let's see here. Darius, what's going on? She says, greetings and blessings. He says, Dimitri K, Brother Donovan Saadiq, live chat family. Well, I simply say this about all of this madness. Corruption, you have some triple Ks there, immortality, hatred, division, etc. Got you. Herschel says, in Somalia never recovered. I stand by my original statement. Okay. I'm not trying to argue with you. I don't want to argue. I'm too thirsty. Not really hungry at this point, but too thirsty to argue. As I am doing Ramadan. Yeah, no, Sister sound like Venezuela, but it was some other countries they were trying to challenge to their elections. Sister Shirley says, please don't mention wars. I still remember the Vietnam War where my husband came home a nutcase. Yeah, and that's sad. So sad. Albert Chill says it's frustrating too because when we tried to warn those of us who continuously vote for the Democrats, they only hear you're on against my team. Yep. Versus understanding, accepting as a whole, we're being played. They don't care. They don't care. My address, how you doing? Says imperialism is an ugly thing, but we're done being the ones always paying the bill over here. Yeah, well, we got to organize because we ain't done if we keep showing up, right? And thank you, Mike, for reminding people there's ways to donate to the channel. Love and appreciate you for that. Pink Blue said both parties are the same cloth. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. African diaspora, what's going on? It says, I still don't agree with the immigrants coming over here rather than the USA bringing them over here. The USA should do a Marshall Plan where they develop these countries like post-World War II Germany. I think so too. I mean, especially if they've had a hand in destabilizing the countries. I mean, you just leave them, and then when they come over here, it's like, wow. One who cares says exactly. A non-English speaking bus owners seem to have the worst practices in our neighborhoods. I boycott them all. Yeah, yeah. The English thing. I mean, I guess not everybody speaks English here, but if you're in like public service or customer service, I think you should be able to do that. I don't think it's acceptable that you say, I can't speak English or no habla español or whatever language you speak. It's like, well, how do we communicate? So yeah, but on the other hand, you have to be able to speak Spanish or whatever it is, Vietnamese in certain places to get the job. And those are good jobs too. If you only speak English, it's like, oh, so sorry. LG was going on and says those numbers prove we are being replaced state by state, slowly but surely. Yep, and we're just da. Molly Cakes, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Tim says, does that mean we as blacks should sit still? How do we get the numbers? No, we organize with our money and our votes. That's how we do it. Stop voting for nothing. Crystal, how you doing? Says, yes, Boston, we are struggling here to stay. To say the very least, displacement is real. Yeah, get together, vote differently, spend your money differently, right? Brenda, how you doing? Says on the citizenship test, one is what group of people were slaves? Is that or the citizenship test? So you said that's one of the questions on there. Interesting. Well, hopefully they get it right. Let's see. I'm just seeing who I have not seen because I am out of time. Yes, I am fasting, Sister Sunlight. Can you believe it? Greedy me is fasting. My daughter's cooking right now. I haven't had a drink, nothing to drink since like 6:30 this morning. Or anything to eat. I had a little bitty small peanut sunflower butter and fresh strawberry
Turkey
sandwich
leg.
this morning. I don't be hungry in the morning, but I got to eat something before, sunrise. So I ate a little bit of like a little peanut butter sandwich. It had some strawberries that I sliced up on it, and a couple of dates, and some water, some matcha. That's all I had. Some water. I had to wake up early and drink some water so I don't get terribly dehydrated, but I am dehydrated. My throat is just like, feel like I just swallowed sandpaper, but it's all good, right? All praises due to Allah. Let's see. Scoop, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Quan, what's going on? Says FBA need to get some Nat Turner spirit in our backbones. Plus, we need our FBA military veterans to stand up for us like right now. Well, certain things they can and cannot do. I don't advise that they get it too crunk,
Yeah, we've got to remember benefits can be taken away that you've earned. Usuma Worlds 5726 says, y'all don't give us credit. We're organizing. Y'all need to promote protesting. What is protesting going to do? I'm not going out there. Look, I live in the desert. I'm not going in 103-degree heat. Protesting was effective in the 1960s. I don't think it's effective today. Wait. Look at all the Latinos here in Los Angeles that are protesting, and they're protesting every day. Do you guys hear about it? Have you heard about it? Is it effective for them? That's why they keep calling for Black folks to come out. Protesting is not effective in the modern age. You are better off using social media to get your message out. The best way to protest is like what Demetra said, with your dollars. If Black people would stop supporting all of this BS and all these stores, maybe they would start listening to us.
Yeah. J Money, how you doing? I it's the first time that I've I guess participated. I don't know if that's the word, or done Ramadan. I always said I was going to do it, but then I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I just made a lot of excuses. So I decided just to, buckle down and do it. And you're really supposed to be focusing on God, and all that other stuff, really just being more, just focused on God and, thinking about God, praying to God. I'm supposed to pray things like 5 times a day. I honestly, I miss some of them. I do get the morning one and the evening one, and one at like 3 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon, if I remember, or whatever it is. But I will say, the time that I've been doing it, I don't think about food during the day as much. I even went to the grocery store twice today. I went to Trader Joe's and another grocery store. I didn't think about getting anything to eat or to drink, any of that. I will say that I am focusing more on God, paying more attention to God. I think that's what I want to say. And I'm actually getting a lot of things done that I would ordinarily get done, but I'm getting them done faster because I don't spend time thinking about what I'm going to eat, sitting down, eating, cooking, or whatever it is. And I've lost a couple of pounds. I don't know if that's kind of the intent. I said Ramadan is kind of like the Ozempic of fasting. But that's not necessarily my intention, but there is some cleansing going on because I would say that I am more intentional. And yes, something like I did see, yes, and giving in charity, I have done that. I kind of always do that. But yes, I did see Janet Jackson at Savior's Day, so that was nice to see. There's quite a few people there. But yeah, I'm actually enjoying the process. It's just kind of not even the first week, but yeah, I'm enjoying the process, just getting used to it. I will say that I am tired at night, and I don't eat as much at night because I don't want to go to sleep with a bunch of food on my stomach. And so, yeah, there is that. But I'm learning a lot more about myself and just about things in general. Really just focusing on doing this. So I'm glad that I did it. I wish I would have done it sooner, but I made a lot of excuses. So I'm kind of learning that too, is to stop making excuses. And it's like, did you die? No, you're going to be fine. Zachariah, how you doing? Says you meant the best way to strategize is online, think proactive and reactive. Yeah, well, I always say the best way to strategize is to get with your friends and family, the people that you can touch near and dear. Whether you have a mom or dad or siblings or children, y'all have those conversations within a household. Let's do this, that, and the other with our money, with our votes. And then if we all have those conversations, then collectively it just kind of happens, right? But yesterday there was a conversation about the code. What is it? The code is the leader. The leader is and I researched it. So yes, it was that from Neely Fuller Jr. in his book, The Compensatory, and it's a long name. I'll mess it up. Code. And I've actually tried to get the book a few times, but it's really expensive. But I'll just have to maybe ask for that as a birthday gift or something. But basically, it says that the codes, if everybody just individually follows the codes, then we don't need a leader type of thing. I think still my question is, and I'm looking at it and spend a lot of time is finding out how do we disseminate the code. I guess we just start doing that kind of stuff here. So I understand what everybody was trying to say yesterday with that. Khalil, what's going on with you? How you doing? It says no need to explain. Okay. Marshall Muhammad, what's going on? Ramadan Mubarak to you, and Ramadan Kareem. See, I'm learning some Arabic too. Listen. My dad always just say, God rest his soul, may Allah be pleased with him. So you need to get into the Quran. He gave this to me, right? You can see he's obviously this was his book. He gave it to me before he passed away. I was like, Daddy, but where do I start? It says start from the beginning. So with Ramadan, which is, when the Quran, that's what in a sense Ramadan is about, when the Quran, came into existence per se. You start from the beginning. And so I've been doing that as well. So I'm learning a lot of I won't say a lot of Arabic, some. But back at you to everybody who is doing it. I'm sure you guys are veterans, and it's something you should look forward to. It's not, see, I have to change my perspective too about Ramadan, because at first when I was doing it and the times that I was thinking about doing it before, I was like, oh my God, I was looking at it with regret and like it was a punishment type thing. But one thing that I've realized with doing it, I also changed the way I think about God, because, just being taught about God in the past, it's a lot of times when I spent time in church, right? In the Christian church, I saw God as kind of being mean and mad all the time. But then it just dawned on me. I said, well, I don't have to see God that way. I could see God, as loving and nice and things like that. So I'm shifting the way I see God. Now I know God don't play, but I'm teaching myself to unlearn that God is just, just raving lunatic. So yeah, there's a lot going on. Original Skywalker, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So during Ramadan, you need to eat to get your nutrients back. Yeah, it's hard. I'm not a morning eater. That's probably not the right way to say it. I don't I don't eat in the morning as much, right? So I'm having to force myself to do that. Corey, how you doing? Tim says, I love what you're doing, Demetra. He says, be careful with the fasting, Donovan. Saadiq, you're too much in a happy place with the kitty cat, so I will keep my jokes of you going down to South Africa. I don't even know what that means. Pink Blue, he says, you want a good laugh, how to lose weight, keep fasting, eat a dinner time, 1 baked yam, 1 piece of cornbread, some green collard greens, watch your weight fall off, yam, use apple spices and other spices. Yeah. But part of that of how to eat to live, yams aren't really that good, or the collard greens. So I try to stay away from those things as much as possible. Although I love those things. I have a sweet potato every once in a while, yam. But yeah. It's just hard for me to go to eat because I go to bed early. For those of y'all who know, I go to bed early. So it's kind of hard for me to eat too heavy and then lay down in the bed. I'll be having nightmares and stuff. So I got to figure out a way to get nutrients before I go bald headed or something. Slim Slammer, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a long time. Hope that you're doing well. Rose, what's going on with you? Jeff, how you doing? It says collectively, Black Americans having master power discreetly. Come on now. We need to do that. We ain't got to be talking all the time and doing it on the internet. Do it in your house, right? Yeah, but of course I had to catch that. Jerome, what's going on? It says still putting illegals before American citizens. They want people illegally voting in elections. Never pushing this hard for the Black community. Yep, but we got to show them that you need to show up for us, or we ain't gonna show up for y'all, right? But anyway, Donovan, you got any last words before we go? Because I'm thirsty.
Yes, last words again. Thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it. We appreciate the support. Love these conversations. We learn just as much from you guys as you guys hopefully could pick out something from us. Please do not forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app, where you'll see great videos from Demetra K, Phil Scott, Wongel, Vicki Dillard, and a whole host of other hosts over there. Also, do not forget, you will see the African Diaspora News Channel crew in Columbus, Ohio, and Canada, if you guys are interested in that. And before I go, do not forget, if you are not participating in your city council meetings and you don't physically have to be there, that is no excuse. Black people, we are on the 3-yard line and we got to punch the ball in. It's the fourth quarter with 15 seconds to go. Go back to the Seattle game when all they had to do was give Marshawn Lynch the football. They would have been Super Bowl champions. That's where we're at as Black people right now. We got to get that ball in the end zone, getting the right people to represent us. Want you guys to pay attention. It is tax season. I want you to look at your tax bill for those of you guys that are homeowners. If your tax bill has gone up and you haven't done any significant improvements to your home, I suggest you get your butt down to that city council and let them know you do not want to participate in funding illegal migrants, because that is where they're getting the money. If you do not believe me, look at Chicago, look at New York. Boston is the next city. Property taxes is the last stop for local municipalities to fill holes in their budgets. A third of all Black wealth was taken in 2008. They never did anything to recover from that or to make us whole. So now Black homeowners in some of these major cities, and probably in your city too, my taxes went up 1/3 from last year. I haven't done any significant improvements in my home. This is what they're doing. And in Chicago's case, you guys better pay attention to what's going on in Chicago and New York and these other cities. These people had 6 weeks to pay the bill. Now, it doesn't mean overnight your house is going to be taken, but you are now put on the sheriff's list. I believe you got a 5-year window or something to pay up all your taxes or something like that. But the point of the matter is, I didn't sign up to fund illegal migration. All of these liberals that want to fund illegal migration, let them fund it. And I bet you they're going to have a different take on it if it came out of their pocket. So be wise about what is going on.
Absolutely. And I should say, y'all, during Ramadan, I'm also working out. I worked out today, a full workout at the gym, and I had a sip of water. But this is a question for you, Donovan.
Wait, I don't understand the question. What do you
feel about? So, what do you feel about what the military did to the FBA family, not supporting that sister and her father, thus both military veterans not getting VA care? So, is a story out there or something? Maybe?
Okay. Just based on the question, and Mr. Kwan, much respect to you. When you leave the military has nothing to do with the VA. A lot of people don't know that. They're two separate entities. That's why you got a military budget and you got a VA budget. So I'm going to tell you from my experience, a lot of veterans that don't get the VA care that they need, it is their fault, because you have to be your own advocate. You just can't accept and expect the American people to look out for you. As we know, we've got 1 million veterans on the street. So I would need to know a little bit more about it, but I can tell you, again, a lot of people for some reason think the military and the VA are the same thing, and they're not.
And that's from the expert of the Veterans Affairs. Donovan is, they need to put him at the head of Veterans Affairs. Yeah, Quan, yeah, a full workout, no water, no nothing. When I say nothing, I just go in there and I just get it done, because I'm like, I cannot not work out, because I'm in the working out groove and all that. So anyway, I do love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow on the African Diaspora News Channel at 11 a.m. and then back again at 5 p.m. Donovan is always more than welcome to show up. I'm
counting my time down. I will be back on the show on a regular very, very soon.
Yeah, he's a working man right now. So that's what it is. So love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Peace.